All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, December the 16th at a little after 5:30, 5:47 to be exact, and we are calling this regular meeting of the Wake County Board of Education to order. I would like to welcome those of you all who are watching at home and those of you all here who are here in person. The Wake County Board of Education meetings are conducted for the purpose of carrying on the official business of the school system. The public is cordially invited to attend these meetings and to observe the board as it conducts its official business. Persons who willfully interrupt, disrupt, or cause disturbance at the official meeting may be directed to leave by the presiding officer. Members of the audience should show respect for the speakers by refraining from loud noises, comments, or disruptions. Disruptions by any persons or persons of the public will be subject to action in court in accordance with General Statute 143-318.17. So we do have a quorum. At this time, I'll ask everyone to stand as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we have a quorum. And at this point, I will entertain a motion to amend our agenda for tonight.
Mr. Chair, motion to amend the agenda
Okay, and we're amending the agenda to do what with that?
to move HR to the consent agenda.
All right.
I mean, to the consent.
Perfect.
Yep.
So we have a motion by Vice Chair Hershey to amend the agenda for tonight to add the HR recommendations. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Dr. Job. All in favor of the amendment to the agenda, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so
It's just the amendment.
correct. All right. So now that the agenda has been amended and approved, I will now entertain a motion to adopt tonight's meeting agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the amended agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Edmonds.
Second.
Second from Vice Chair Hershey. All in favor of the adoption of tonight's amended agenda, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the agenda has been moved and adopted. Our first item, recognition item tonight, will come from our Chief of Staff, Dr. Thompson, Southern Area Superintendent, for the naming of the Fuquay High School softball field. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you, Chair Swanson, and good evening to you, Superintendent Taylor, and members of the board. Good to see you all. I'm here this evening to introduce the principal of Fuquay-Varina High School, Mr. Mike James. Mr. James will be sharing details regarding a request to name the softball field at Fuquay-Varina High School after a longtime educator who served the Wake County Public School System at Fuquay-Varina High School as a teacher, department chair, and softball coach. After the recognition item, we will be requesting approval of this recommendation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Welcome, Principal James.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson, Superintendent Taylor, Chairperson Swanson, and board members. The Fuquay-Varina High School continues to celebrate our 50th year as an integrated school at Bengal Boulevard, highlighting significant people, events, and milestones that have contributed to the legacy of our school's community. It is a privilege to present to you this evening on behalf of the Fuquay-Varina High School Athletic Boosters Club our request for your approval in naming the softball field at the Fuquay-Varina High School Deb Clark Field, a legendary and influential teacher and coach at Fuquay-Varina High School for 29 years. Deb Clark, who is with us this evening, along with her partner Jessica Monroe, former assistant coaches Kendra Yerrick and Billy Tarpey, represents a significant legacy individual who has impacted over 5,000 students that she taught in the classroom and 400 student athletes that she coached on the softball diamond. Her accomplishments as a teacher and coach have never been matched in the history of our community school. Deservingly, Coach Clark was inducted into the Fuquay-Varina High School Athletics Hall of Fame in 2023. Coach Clark, first and foremost, is a physical education teacher. She was a valued and contributing member to the Fuquay-Varina High School Physical Education Department, was a department chairperson for a number of years. Longtime members of our physical education department will tell you there was never a day and time that they did not feel supported by Coach Clark for their daily work. She was a valued member of our school's leadership team, and her work testified to her belief that student learning, accountability, and preparation for life came first. Coach Clark's legacy is the hallmark of consistency with excellence. When Coach Clark began her career in 1995, it was the final year for slow pitch softball. Beginning in 1996, the Wake County Public School System moved and made the transition to fast pitch softball, which in turn fast-tracked her career and trajectory. As the head coach of Fuquay-Varina High School softball team, Coach Clark's statistics are as follows over her 29 years. 438 wins to only 125 losses, with a 760 winning percentage. Now here's the most remarkable part. Her teams made the playoffs for 29 straight years of her career. 14 conference championships, 5 Final Four appearances, and 1 Eastern Region championship. Coach Clark was named Conference Coach of the Year 12 times, Eastern Region Coach of the Year 2 times, and the Fuquay-Varina High School Coach of the Year over all other coaches. Most importantly, Coach Clark's legacy lives on in the over 5,000 students that she taught, 400 ladies that she coached on the softball diamond, and 31 of those players went on to play at the collegiate level. Coach Clark was quoted, "I am glad I took this head coaching job and got the chance to build the softball program. The program has kept me, once a Bengal, always a Bengal, and I've never wanted to go anywhere else." Coach Clark has credited the rich tradition of the softball in the Fuquay-Varina community with strong fan bases and parental support as the keys to success of our high school program. As the principal of the Fuquay-Varina High School, I confirm that this request meets the requirements of the Wake County Public School System's Board Policy 9300 for naming a school facility. Additionally, I would like to confirm that the Fuquay-Varina High School Athletic Booster Club will work in tandem with our school system's facility staff to ensure any fiscal implications will be funded by the Booster Club from private donations. At this time, we are requesting the board's approval to name the softball field Deb Clark Field after a legacy individual, teacher, and coach, Deb Clark. I thank you for your consideration of our proposal and all that you do on behalf of our public schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a motion to name the Fuquay-Varina softball field the Coach Clark Field?
Chair Swanson, as the representative of the Fuquay-Varina High School, I'm honored to be able to move that we rename the Fuquay-Varina High School softball field to Deb Clark Field.
There is a motion on the floor
Second.
by, let me get it out. There is I understand the excitement. It's like.
He was ready.
He was. There is a motion on the floor, I almost said field, on the floor from Dr. Job, and it's been moved properly second by Vice Chair Hershey. Is there any discussion? Vice Chair Hershey.
So I just could not be more happy for you. For everybody who doesn't know, I was on the Wake Forest, Roseville at the time, softball staff. And for 10 years when I coached at Wake Forest High School, we played numerous times against Fuquay. And I am proud that we gave her a couple of the losses while we also were on the receiving end of some beatdowns. They were always an incredible program when I was there. We knew that if we wanted to reach our goals, Fuquay was a team that was going to be in our way. And I knew some of the girls who played for you, and they loved being on your team, and they loved Fuquay, and you guys were great. And I love this about this part of the job, to see someone like you get recognized, and you had an amazing career, and really happy for you.
Yes. Coach Clark, yes, thank you. And 29 years is a wonderful and long career, and I know your legacy will continue post those 29 years forever. And so very grateful and honored that you chose to have your career here at Wake County Public Schools. And so this is a great honor, and thank you for the work that you've done and the work that you're going to continue to do. And we look forward to the vote. Is there any other discussions or questions? All right. There is a motion. All in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the Fuquay Arena softball field is now the Coach Deb Clark field. Thank you. Coach Clark, the podium is yours if you'd like to make some remarks. The podium is yours.
Well, she left out that she was one of my assistant coaches when she
I
started.
didn't want to talk about that long ago.
So, yeah, it was quite some time ago, but I just wanted to thank everybody that came with me. It's a team sport, so it takes a lot of...
You got this. You got this.
It's just nice to see you, for sure. I appreciate that, all your comments. It just takes a village. And I have a chance to lead great kids.
If I could just take a minute to say one thing on her behalf. So I was an assistant coach for her in the early years, right after we went to Fast Pitch. And she is a player-centered coach and knows how to push, but how to support at the same time. And you can see her heart as she stands here right now. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Billy, he's my assistant down there, and Kendra. They've been with me for the last 10, 12 years, and, I did a lot of this on my own when I was with her and when I was younger, but then it takes a squad, a team. Most of the teams out there have several assistants and several coaches, and so as the program grew and as the, expectations grew, I brought in some key people and some key coaches that helped me keep the tradition alive and keep the legacy alive. So just wanted to thank them. And one of my little players came here too. So, and also my partner Jess, she's so tired of washing black and orange and white and all the time. So I couldn't have done. I was never at home, especially in the spring. So I want to thank her too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Swanson, could we just
Absolutely.
do a photo for them real quick?
Sure. And we'll see if someone from the communications team will help with that. Ms. Clark, is that possible? Thank you in advance, Ms. Clark. Thank you, Ms. Clark.
Space this way.
Yeah, face, you probably face this way, so that they can get here. Sure. I'm gonna get your photos. You guys want to?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, just take one more. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And as we continue the celebrations, we will turn to our first information item from board member, I guess I can say District 3 Board Member Emeritus, former board member, former board chair, Ms. Roxy Cash, who not only tells Dr. Ng what to do, but she tells me to do the same as well. So, Ms.
No,
Cash.
nobody listens to me. Chair Swanson and Vice Chair Hershey, members of our school board, Superintendent Taylor, I really appreciate being here tonight. My name's Roxy Cash, and this is an honor to be in front of you tonight for this very purpose. Food security for children came much more to the forefront back in COVID days when I was on the school board. And what I found during that time was that nonprofits became very crucial partners for us during that time to feed our families and to feed the children, especially during the times that our schools were closed. So a year ago, I was asked by E.K. Simmons, who I've known previously. We worked together at the pharmacy, and she asked me to come to an event for 4 children partners. Well, I was intrigued to do that for a couple of reasons. First, one, Paula DeLuca, our CNS director at that time, was involved in that, and I respected her highly. Also, it was a partnership with the Wake County Public School System, and when I was on the board, that was a hard thing to get accomplished sometimes, was to have a partnership. So that impressed me, so we had a partnership going. And 4 children partners with feeding children in our schools every day that other dollars were not feeding. And this was very important, and we needed to continue that. So I went to the event, and I learned a lot. And to share this nonprofit with you tonight, I would like to introduce my friend, E.K. Simmons.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As she said, I'm E.K. Simmons. I started a nonprofit in 2022 called 4 Children Partners. It's a 501c3. The whole point of this nonprofit is to find a way to fill in the gap for the children that don't get free and reduced lunch in Wake County. Why did I choose Wake County? Well, I live here. I raised 5 children here. It's the 14th largest school system in the country, and it's the largest school system in North Carolina, so why not? It's only 161,155 kids. Yeah, that's nothing, right? But the idea is that there are children that go to school every day, and there are children that go to school and they're hungry for no reason of their own. It's no fault of their own. They either forgot their lunch that day, mom and dad forgot to put money on their accounts. It could be for any reason, and they are in that gap of kids where they don't qualify for free and reduced lunch. So I thought, well, let's give this a little shot. We'll try this. We've been in existence for 3 years. As Roxy mentioned, I had the opportunity to meet with Paula DeLuca. And the reason I got to meet with Paula DeLuca is because we actually tried to pilot this program in a school called East Garner Magnet Middle School because the principal was interested to let me try. But I needed $300,000 to feed all these kids. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Well, during that process of us coming up with this SOP, Paula DeLuca identified schools in our county for the CEP program. And the school that I was working with is now a CEP school. So CEP is that Community Eligibility Program. Great program, fabulous program, federally funded by SNAP dollars. There are 44 schools in Wake County that are part of that program. So then I had to go back and think, well, what am I going to do now? Because the school that I was going to pilot this wonderful program in now is a CPE school, and they don't need my money. They don't need the money from the nonprofit. So I sat down with Paula DeLuca, and I said, Paula, what can I do? I want to try to figure out a way to help these kids. So we came up with this district-wide angel fund idea. So the idea behind the program is that a lot of schools in Wake County don't have angel funds, but there are children that needed money to be able to eat a meal. And if they go through the school 3 times in 3 consecutive days, on that 4th day, they get an alternative meal. Well, an alternative meal sounds great, but there's a lot of stigma that goes along with that alternative meal. Imagine you're going through a cafeteria line and your favorite slice of pizza is in front of you, and all of a sudden it's gotten taken away from you, and you just got fruits and vegetables. Well, that just is not in a good place for a child. So the Angel Fund picks up that tab, and for every day after that, until the child has money on their account, the Angel Fund will pay for that child's meal. We donate $35,000 to the school this year to CNS. We also are a grantor to one school so that they also can participate in this community eligibility program. It's Forest Pines Elementary School. That's another $44,000 that we've committed to the school system for this year to feed these kids. What I really am standing up here to say is I believe that every child in Wake County deserves a meal. They need to be fed breakfast and lunch. Children cannot learn on an empty stomach. They just can't. Statistics show that they improve 17% by having breakfast in their stomach when they show up at school. And they don't need honey buns, they don't need nabs, they need a nutritious meal that's made by the school system. So what if we could do something like universal breakfast and lunch for all of these wonderful kids? We're the 14th largest school system in the entire country. Don't you think that that would make such an impact on the nation to say, this school system figured out a way to take care of their own? We're a village. We should try to see if we can figure out how to take care of our village, because these you little ones, these kids are our future. And if we don't teach them well and teach them the best that we can today, they're not going to be able to do what we're going to need for them to do in 20 years. So that's my passion. I could talk to y'all for hours about this nonprofit, but I want to take care of these kids. I want to figure out how to partner with anyone that's willing to partner with me to help me figure out a way to provide 161,155 kids this year a breakfast and a lunch every day that they walk into school. Thank you for listening to me tonight. Y'all have a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you. And I'll just say to Ms. Simmons and to Ms. Cash, thank you, and to Dr. Ng for extending the invitation to us. Ms. Edmonds, Mr. Hegarty, and I had the opportunity of attending the gala that you all held, which also benefited Wake County Public Schools. And so very appreciative of your partnership. And hopefully tonight some folks were inspired to see and to do more and to answer the call like you did to support this, because this is something that we can achieve together. I know Ms. Cash and I've had a conversation. We have a plan that we're going to work to ensure that our kids can get some food, but we are grateful for your work. And Dr. Ng, I'll recognize you if you have any comments, since this is in your district.
Thank you so much. I received the invitation from Ms. Cash, and unfortunately I was not able to attend, but because I couldn't attend, I wanted to make sure that it was well represented. So I'm glad that some of you all were able to attend. And this is just such a great effort, and I applaud you for your dedication.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for your work and your passion. See, even when you leave the school board, the calling to support public education never goes away. So,
Important thing.
yes, thank you for Ms. Cash. And we will turn to our next information item, which is Wake Up and Read. Dr. Shanika Moore-Brown and or Ms. Smith will join us at the podium to talk about not only how we're going to get kids fed, but also address these literacy rates as well. So welcome. They both go hand in hand. Thank you and good evening.
Greetings. Greetings, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, and Superintendent Taylor. My name is Dr. Shanika Moore-Brown. I'm the proud Senior Director of K-12 Academic Enhancement, and I have with me Ms. Marissa Smith, who's our Family Leadership and Literacy Liaison. And we're very excited today to be talking with you about Wake Up and Read. And so we will get our presentation cued. So I'm sure you know that Wake Up and Read, our mission is to ensure that every student has the right to literacy. We believe that every student needs to engage in opportunities and experiences that put books in their hands. We believe that every student should leave third grade reading at or above grade level, and we believe that literacy is a right and not a privilege. We believe that there are many measures that impact students' literacy achievement. Those measures not only include rich learning environments, but also health and wellness, both mental health, physical health, and social emotional health, and also the importance of family and community engagement. So we are very excited to love on our schools. We have 27 partner schools and 18 child development centers that we work with for 25-26. Through that work, we have a book drive and distribution. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. We are putting 5 new books that are self-selected by our students in pre-K through third grade in their hands during this book drive distribution program. Also, we have a multitude of community partners who work with us, and they have developed a support menu of resources that they also provide to these 27 schools to address the whole child and the 18 child development centers. We do have 3 action teams as a part of Wake Up and Read. Action Team 1 is school readiness, and we know that this is where we're talking about from the womb to kindergarten. We believe that that also impacts having access to quality early childhood education and child centers, and also helping with kindergarten registration, preparation, and also putting toolkits in the hands of our families and those who love on our students to make sure that they are ready and that families can be engaged. And lastly, and then I'll turn it over to Marissa. Action Team 2 is learning opportunities. With learning opportunities, we provide training to families on the science of reading and also to our community partners. We also have a literacy through play curriculum. And in addition, we provide books across Wake County to after-school programs. And also you can find us in many other places, including the Wash House Laundromat, the Family Promise of Wake County, and Raleigh Parks and Rec, because we know that not only is it the responsibility of Wake County Public School System to educate our students, but it's also the responsibility of our community. I'm now going to turn it over to Marissa, who will continue our presentation.
Good evening, distinguished members of the board. Our Families as Partners Coalition brings together cross-sector partners through a collective impact structure. We work across disciplines, systems to create practices that ensure we are cultivating a community of young readers. The Families as Partners Action Team prioritizes learning from and partnering with our families about the resources and support they need to feel most prepared for their family's unique needs. Our goal is to ensure that caregivers feel equipped with the skills necessary to effectively fulfill their role as their child's first teacher. During the 24-25 school year, the Families as Partners Action Team members worked collaboratively to engage over 5,000 students working out in direct community initiatives, and over 3,000 caregivers in literacy-focused programming. A few key initiatives of our Families as Partners Action Team are an electric newsletter that goes out monthly to increase awareness of reading strategies and resources, family engagement nights at our schools, community centers, child development centers, a parent leader network, which meets twice monthly, and educational text messages through our parent-powered text messaging platform. Even when we can't be in a family's presence, we want to provide resources for them to grow their children's skills. Parent Powered is a family-centered engagement resource for families of children birth to 12th grade. Parent Powered connects our families with tips and activities that support math, literacy, language, science, study skills, college and career readiness, and positive self and independence and strong attendance. Through these text messaging platform, families are able to set up 3 children. These texts grow with their children and are available in 10 different languages, including Arabic, Chinese, English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. Families can text WC to 70138 to join. Wake Up and Read also meets our families where they are, both literally and figuratively. We've developed a parent leader network that engages a dedicated cohort of families twice monthly in a gathering that we've affectionately coined Books, Brunch, and Belonging. These sessions occur in our office as well as virtually each month. We also do them upon request with our partner schools and community sites. This program brings families together to explore the science of reading and learn practical strategies that they can use at home to support their children's learning. Annually, Wake Up and Read hosts the Today a Reader, Tomorrow a Leader school book drive and distribution. You can see that our journey has evolved since 2012, going from 6 schools to now 27 schools and 18 child care centers. We are embarking on that book drive and distribution in early January. The drive will run this year, January 12th through February 20th. As you can see, we have impacted many students and many schools throughout our time facilitating the book drive. Last year, 13,859 Wake County students received over 62,000 books from our book distribution at our partner schools. We're off to a great start this year, already having approximately 11,000 new books at our office ready to go out to students. The goal is to provide each student at our 27 partner schools with at least 5 new books. Books are an essential portion of our work, allowing us to engage and build trust in our community. However, the true power of the Wake Up and Read Coalition are the community agencies, families, and volunteers, as well as the commitment we all have to transformative shared learning, all in the name of our children being literate and prepared for success in school and life. We are always seeking volunteers to help us connect to our families, host drives, process books, and of course, spread the word about Wake Up and Read. Thank you for your continued support.
Thank you. And for the public, when can folks begin to donate books, and when is the last day they can donate books, and where can they take those books to if they are feeling so inclined to help support this work?
You can start immediately,
Okay.
and the drive runs through February 20th, but you can always donate books throughout the year. We have, our office is at 1820 Capitol Boulevard, so you can drop them there. You can drop them at a few sites throughout the community, like the Southeast Raleigh YMCA or Marbles Kids Museum, or several of the Wake County Public Libraries.
Great, thank you. And
We are
We have
excited
some-
that you all are going to launch our book
Correct.
drive today.
thank you. Thank you.
And if there's any additional information that you need in regards to Wake Up and Read, we ask that you reach out to Marissa or I, and you also have information in the orange folder that you have in front of you. Thank you, and we appreciate
Great.
this opportunity.
Thank you. Dr. Ng?
Hi, yes, thank you. I think it's kind of serendipity that Ms. Cash is here as well, because she actually connected me to a group of very passionate folks wanting to advocate for our children with dyslexia. And I'm really hoping that you guys can connect and figure out a way that you guys can partner. And because, you know, some parents don't even know when their child is having an issue with learning to read. And we just don't want them to get behind more and more as they get older. So I would love for you guys to connect. Thank you.
Ms. Edmonds, I believe you were there this morning. Do you have some comments you'd like to share?
Sure. I do. I'm going to comment on it differently in my board member comments, but what I'll say this morning is it was my second time attending this particular event or training workshop. I forget how you frame it. And it's always so inspiring, and I especially love seeing how the program has grown. Like that was the most, uplifting slide, that I saw today in a pretty short amount of time in my view. So the partnership with Marbles is incredible. I know there's many other partners, but I think, I know Marbles is doing some early literacy work independent of Wake Up and Read. And so it really, as is Wake County Public Libraries and other partners. So I enjoyed being there this morning. Commissioner Waters was there and Dr. Taylor. was able to be there and give remarks. So just thank you for all of your work, and I look forward to making another donation before February 20th.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You as well, thank you. So we will now turn to, or move to the public comments. Students are not here, so we have no student speakers, but only the person speaking at the podium will be able to stand. Again, all attendees that are not speaking are to remain seated. Concerns related to personal issues or student matter may be addressed through the applicable WCPSS personnel, the grievance policy, or any applicable policy. The board welcomes all points of views, including criticism directed at substantive ideas, actions, or procedures. However, the board public comment policy also requires that, However, the board public comment policy also requires that order and decorum be maintained. In the interest of maintaining order and decorum, speakers are encouraged to address their comments to the Board of Education and must refrain from personal attacks and insults directed at board members, individual board members, staff, or the general public, All commenters are asked to remember that children are oftentimes attending these meetings and to keep their comments substantive and civil. Please remain at the podium during your time speaking. Any materials that you wish to share with the board can be handed to our board attorney, Mr. Malone, either before or after your comments. During the public comment, you may speak up to 3 minutes. Please note that the microphones are adjustable, and when the green light at the podium illuminates, that will indicate that your 3 minutes have begun. A yellow light will light up along with an audible tone to inform you that there's 30 seconds remaining in your time. When your time is up, you will see a red light and hear another audible tone. When the time is up, the next speaker will be called to the podium. Speakers are asked to respect the time limit and not to speak no more than 3 minutes. We have no student speakers. Our first speaker is Joseph Deaton. Thank you. We'll get that. Dr. Moore Brown forgot her clicker.
Okay.
Thank you.
In previous meetings, I began reviewing a court file for an abuse lawsuit that was settled in 2023. Teachers in Durham did not report obvious grooming by one colleague. School officials violated NC statutes by not reporting to law enforcement after a girl was groped by this teacher, and failing to notify NCDPI that he resigned after this incident. Thus, there was neither a criminal nor DPI record when this offender applied for a job in Wake County. The hiring principal was so naive and negligent that she just accepted his story that he resigned to care for a sick relative. When she called the Durham principal, she did not ask and he did not tell that he had been forced to resign. Incredibly, he gave that teacher a positive review. Now, there was an 11-year-old Wake County student who had multiple health problems and had permission to go to the restroom whenever necessary. It was at multiple such times that this teacher struck right down the hall from the main office. What he did was too vile and disgusting to say out loud. There was pornographic graffiti and a foul mess left in the bathroom. The same principal who was so naive and negligent in hiring this predator blamed the girl for the mess, not stopping to think that this was totally out of character for the child, and apparently unconscious that predators frequently threaten to kill their victims if they tell. Evidently, the principal was not adequately trained to know that. The principal allegedly squeezed the girl's wrist so hard that it was broken, as one of her health problems was brittle bone syndrome. This shows why you don't do the investigation, but call law enforcement with agents specially trained to interview child victims whenever you have reasonable suspicion that something is not right. Instead, the girl was suspended. She was then unable to return to school after the suspension and suffered terribly for a long time. Next time, I will review how the situation was resolved more than a year later after another victim came forward. Thank you. Good evening.
Our next speaker will be Sherry Bodie.
Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, Dr. Taylor, and the board, good evening. I'm here tonight because I am disappointed, not simply by an incident involving my children, but by how that incident has been handled. When situations arise that involve student safety, parents reasonably expect three things: timely documentation, clear communication, and consistent accountability. Unfortunately, that has not been our experience. First, there was no incident report completed by the bus driver on the day of said event. We've learned that the report was written 28 days after the incident. That delay alone contributed to confusion, shifting explanations, and unnecessary stress for our family. Second, throughout this process, the focus has remained almost entirely on my daughter. While adult actions and procedural gaps have not been addressed with the same attention. The language attributed to my daughter has also changed over time. First, one word was cited, then later a different word. My daughter has consistently stated that no profanity was used. When details change in this way, it becomes difficult for parents to understand what actually occurred and why. There are also statements in the school's written response that raise questions. References were made to the bus returning to campus, implying that it had left school grounds. The bus never left campus. That distinction matters, particularly when it is used to explain or justify decisions affecting children and students. I also want to address supervision and communication. Initially, our daughter was told by the administrator that she was not riding any bus and needed to find her own transportation home, with no effort made to contact parents or escort her and her brother to a supervised space. It was only later when the 6th grade vice principal noticed my daughter visibly in distress that someone stepped in, showed care, and ensured appropriate supervision. It's important to clarify that supervision described by the school came by the 6th grade vice principal. That was not the initial response. What troubles me most is the inconsistencies we have encountered that have come from adults. I want to be clear, I am not here to assign blame or question intent. I am here because systems matter, and when systems fail, families feel the impact. As an involved parent with access to resources, time, and the confidence to advocate for my children, it makes me wonder what this would have felt like for parents who don't have the access to resources that I do. Thank you.
And Ms. Brody, before you leave, Mr. Strickland or Dr. Robson will connect with you. You have many staff that's going to here to speak to you, so yes. Thank you. I was going to assign somebody. Dr. Taylor gave me the note. Our next speaker will be Jill McKilla. And Jill, if I mispronounced your last name, I'm so sorry. Please correct me at the podium.
I'm Jill McEllier.
Sorry.
But you know what? I've only ever known two people to get it right, and one of them was my husband, so that's okay. Mr. Swanson, Dr. Taylor, members of the board, thank you so much for having me tonight. I am here as a concerned community member and also as a parent of a high schooler at Crossroads Flex High School. I prepared a statement tonight because on Wednesday, December 3rd, we received notice that Crossroads Flex would be moving to the Garner Community Center beginning for the 2026-2027 school year. My statement was prepared, ready to go and ask questions of you. However, at 6 o'clock, just 30 minutes ago, I received an email that notified all parents of Crossroads Flex students that our children would be going virtually. They would be attending school virtually beginning in January, that they would no longer be allowed to go back to their school. Part of the reason for this, based on what the email said, was because the fire marshal is precluding more than 45 students from being in the building. My questions for you, based on the limited information that I have at this time, is who made this decision? Why were parents not notified if there has been communication with the fire marshal and we understood that this was going to happen? Why were parents not notified of this before now? If there were a conversation going on about this issue, why was it not discussed at the facilities meeting earlier today? If this were a question going on before the enrollment and before our students started high school and began to create friendships and have the stability that they need in high school, why didn't we know before enrollment started? I'm very concerned for the students at Crossroads Flex, particularly as our children already went through something virtual during COVID. And we saw how mental health was affected during COVID. Now, to throw this on our students in the middle of the school year, it feels like we are going back to COVID. And this is not right, it is not fair to them, and we need your help. Look, we have very active parents. We would help you look for a facility for them. We would do whatever we could, but we need notice, and we need to know what you need from us to help our kids. So that's where we are, and I would love to ask these questions, and I would love responses, and love to know how we can all address this.
And before you take your seat, Dr. Robinson will speak with you about those concerns. Thank you. And our final speaker for tonight is Richard Bridgers.
Chair, Vice Chair, new member, congratulations. Hopefully you take this job seriously. After 9 months of asking for my son's complete disciplinary record, I finally got it, and it revealed some pretty startling things that have made me actively cry. I want to start off with this. You cannot tell me how many hours of instructions my son has missed. You cannot tell me how many hours he spent locked in a room at South Lakes Elementary School because he didn't document it. That's got to change, especially since you've been sued for that just a few months prior to these actions happening with my son. Now, roughly 2 years ago, my son at 6 years old started talking about wanting to kill himself. And the reason he was doing that is because he was getting these ridiculous reports of his actions. Like, his teachers were accusing him of things that never happened. And the school was locking him in a room for hours. And I'm so angry I forgot what I was going to say. But all this stuff that you can't tell me, what I can tell you based off the documentation I have is that you have not one but two principals who have lied on official documentations. One of them is in charge of a school. I can show you where a vice principal who's no longer with the school lied on official documentation, is no longer with the school. I can show you where a vice principal lied to the freaking cops about his actions and child abuse, and he's still in charge of a school. Now, I'm hopeful that what you said in your meeting about changing student discipline is true. I don't think you're actually going to do anything about it because accountability is something that you're scared of, especially when it comes to leadership in the district. What happened to my son it's not isolated. It's happening to other students. I've talked to a lot of other families who have had their children locked in a room, and it's not documented. They're not being told about it. It's only after their student comes home that anything's even done about it. And I've talked to multiple people, and I've heard multiple definitions of what seclusion means. So apparently, if you lock my child in a room and tell him he can't leave, you don't let him use the bathroom, it doesn't count as seclusion because somebody else in that hallway has their door open. Now, I don't know, I can't seem to find anyone who thinks this makes sense except for the school district. And I don't know what needs to be fixed, and I honestly think it's going to take radical change, and I hopefully you have the stomach for that, because as you can tell from the lady back there and the people who have spoken before me in the past months, the school has a real problem with changing their narratives when they're confronted with facts. It's happened to me multiple times. I've shown you in writing where things have happened to me, and the staff still called me a liar. It's unacceptable, and you ought to be embarrassed of yourselves.
That concludes our public comment. We will now turn to the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the adoption of the consent agenda?
Board Chair, motion to adopt the consent agenda.
There's a motion on the floor to adopt tonight's consent agenda from Mr. Vice Chair Hershey. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Edmonds. All in favor of the adoption of the consent agenda, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Let the record show that it's a 8-1. We will now move, I'm sorry, I'll do it. That's right. I'm trying to give Mr. Hegarty another vote. Thank you for catching that. A 6-1 vote. 7-1. I can't do math. You see, I'm ready to get moving forward with this Christmas break. Sorry. Yes. Yes. Now where am I going to? Okay, our action items. So our first action item is coming from the academics department. So we will hear from Ms. Stone or Dr. Hill to talk about our letters training. Well, welcome, Ms. Stone.
Good evening, Board Chair, Superintendent Taylor, and board members. We are here to request approval for the letters of professional learning for newly hired teachers, administrators, and instructional support staff to Wake County Public Schools. This is the required training that teachers must have that is aligned with the science of reading. And so that contract renewal is located for $60,000, $712.50, plus applicable taxes.
Great. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the letters training?
So moved.
It's a motion from Ms. Gordon. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded from Dr. Ng. Is there any discussion? All right, hearing none, ready for the vote. All in favor of the adoption of the letters training, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs. The ayes have it. The action has been adopted.
Thank you all.
Thank you. We will now turn to our policy. The first one is Board Policy 3225, 30. Okay, let me look on this. Yes, 3225, 4312, and 7320. Technology responsible use for first reading. Welcome to the podium.
Good evening. Good evening, Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, and members of the board. Tonight, I'm bringing two policies as action for the board approval of the first read with a request to waive second reading. And that is because of House Bill 959. They approved in July, just went through policy. We had one chance to kind of bring that through the policy committee, and we're bringing this before you now. That's why we're asking it. And the law says they want a couple things to be in policy by January 1st, 2026.
And I may have misspoke. That is policy 3525 432, the 7320, technology responsible use.
That's one of them.
Okay.
Correct. The other one is also part of that same House bill.
So okay. Got it. So we
But I'll
can-
go through them separately.
Thank you.
First, I present policy 3225-4312-7320, technology responsible use, with revisions discussed at the November 19th Policy Committee. Revisions in red, you'll see there's a whole lot of colors here, were recommended by the North Carolina School Boards Association. There are a couple items that were mandatory in there, and there was a bunch of them that were recommended. Most of them, importantly, reflect newly adopted statutory language concerning internet safety and the security of student personal information. Other revisions organize the policy, update technology terminology, and improve clarity. Blue text indicates revisions recommended by staff. These revisions align with existing district practices and digital literacy goals. You'll also see some of the blue items were highlighted in yellow. These revisions were requested and approved during the policy committee meeting. So I'm going to give kind of a highlight of what we go through. On page 1, we added a hyperlink to the text Code of Student Conduct as requested by the board. On page 3, item 5, we start the sentence with staff instead of users as requested. At the top of page 4, we have struck the NCBSBA recommended language, and that was the portion discussing videoing and releasing data on district devices. On page 8, section G, we remove the references to generative artificial intelligence and we replace them with references to applicable technology guidelines. As we know, you've been working on an AI policy, and we don't really want to have what should or shouldn't be done in more than one. So we just rather leave the AI policy to itself. Also on page 8, section H, we revised the description of disciplinary consequences to apply more broadly to students and employees. On page 9, finally, we removed other resources listing at the bottom of the references because the policy no longer references generative artificial intelligence guidelines. So tonight, I request the board's approval of the first reading of the policy 3225, 4312, 7320, technology responsible use, with a waiver of second reading.
Thank you. So there is a motion, well, at this point, I'll entertain a motion to approve Board Policy 3225-4312-7320, Technology Responsible Use, waiving of adoption of it, and to waive second reading.
Chair Swanson, I make that motion. I was going to use all of that language, but you've just stated the policy number with the waiver of second reading, so I'll just make that motion.
It's a motion from Ms. Edmonds. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Gordon. Is there any discussion? Ms. Caulfield.
I just had a quick question on page 2. There's 2 different things on there. I just wanted to ask, at the top of the page, they cross out all students must be trained by appropriate, and then they change the language to they'll receive digital literacy.
Yeah,
Is
that whole
this-
section was moved down to section G under use agreements at the end of the document. And
Okay.
you're right, some things were changed and tweaked just a little bit, but
Okay,
it
I
was
just wanted
moved to
to
the
make
end.
sure.
Mhm.
Okay, and then why did we remove the following paragraph? Was that transferred also, and I just didn't see it? Because it speaks about it being informed annually. Was that put somewhere else?
All that is in section G now. Let me go down. There's an RMP that follows this too, which also discusses the parental or signatures at the end that are
Okay, I
required.
was scrolling, I didn't see that. Thank you for that clarification.
Sure.
Ms. Edmonds?
I just wanted to remind board members that, we are under the clock to get this approved by January 1, and any policy can be revisited in policy committee if anyone feels this is too rushed. If you look at it more closely after tonight and feel like you want to bring it back, I'm certainly open to that as chair, and that is within our purview as a board to revisit any policy at any time.
Dr. Jobe?
I just had a clarifying question. The removal of generative artificial intelligence in G and, I think G, is that because technology was seen to encompass that?
No, there's a separate policy the board has asked the staff to create on AI specifically. And kind of like the code of conduct, we don't want to say how someone's going to be, if you do something wrong, what's the punishment? We wanted to say that's code of conduct somewhere else. Similarly, when we deal with AI, we'd rather in this policy say it's all other things technology, because today it's AI, tomorrow it could be something else. We'd rather let that, like that, to stand alone.
Okay,
Mhm.
thanks.
All right, Ms. Rice?
I did want to just share that, I'm in agreement for approving tonight or whatever, but I do think that we should come back. I'm just concerned about a little bit of language, and I'm concerned about the consequences behind it, which was in B for rules used for technology. I know that I believe that we're in agreement that we don't want students on social media, of course, during class time or whatever, but I also want us to live or think realistically as well of what's happening. I just want to make sure our students going to have punitive consequences if they are found on a social media site on their own devices during the times that we've allotted to be able to use their phones. And I'm only asking because I know these students ask me these questions off-site all the time. And so I just want to see what are the parameters. And so, I'll be in agreement tonight, but I do think that we need to, I just need clarity on what that really means or.
And I mean, this is all about getting in compliance with state law, so we can discuss some times it works best to bring this back to flesh out some pieces, but I think right now we just need to be in compliance with all state laws regarding this
Correct.
policy.
And Ms. Taylor, that was specifically part of the general statute upgrade. So that was directly saying students cannot have access. So, meaning we get it on our filters, and then you have a cell phone policy or different things that try to protect people the other ways, if you will, they can get there unless it's teacher directed.
Ms. Evans?
Thank you. I just want to clarify, and I watched the meeting again yesterday just to refresh my memory, but this is specific to district-issued devices.
That's correct.
This policy does not govern personal devices.
So we'll have some discussions about there, some thoughts, perhaps if, to be consistent across the board, perhaps the RMP or whatever policy we need to address puts restrictions on all devices, whether it's district device or whatnot, or personal or district device. So those can be some discussion that we can get to policy once we pass this and waive. Is there any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor of the adoption of the motion, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs, the ayes have it. Policy 3225-4312-7320 has been passed, and we have waived second reading. Next policy is Board Policy 3620-4205, Internet Safety, on first reading.
Thank you. Our second policy tonight, again, 3326-4205, that's internet safety. It's also presented with revisions discussed at the November 19th Policy Committee. Red text indicates revisions recommended by the North Carolina School Boards Association. As with our first policy, most revisions are directly from them. There were no changes that staff or board had on that. So tonight, I request board's approval of the first reading of policy 3326-4205, internet safety, with a waiver of second reading.
All right, so is there a motion to adopt Board Policy 3226-405, Internet Safety, to adopt it and to waive second reading?
So moved, Chair Swanson.
There's a motion by Ms. Edmonds, and it's a second by Ms. Caulfield. Any discussion on the policy? All right. Hearing none, all in favor of the adoption of the policy, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs. The ayes have it. The policy has been adopted. We will now move to our employee ombudsman policy that will be presented by Dr. Robinson and Attorney Ramey. Dr. Robinson, do we need this one lifted up or? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Chair Swanson, Vice Chair Hershey, members of the board, and Superintendent Taylor. Today I am presenting Board Policy 7433, Employee Ombuds, for your consideration and approval, with the adoption of first reading and the waiver of second reading. The policy was developed and refined in collaboration with staff, legal counsel, and with the guidance and input of the board. It reflects the final edits discussed during the board work session earlier today and is aligned with our strategic priorities. At this time, I respectfully present Board Policy 7433, Employee Ombuds, for your approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Dr. Robinson, is there also a request to waive second reading with this one also?
That is correct.
Okay.
Adoption of first reading and the waiver of second reading.
All right.
Did you incorporate the edits from the work session already? Okay.
We already did all that.
Is there a motion on the floor to adopt the employee ombudsman policy? What was that number again? Policy
7433.
7433 with the waiver of second reading.
Chair Swanson, I'll be glad to make that motion, but I do have a question, a technical question before I make that.
So let's do the motion first, get it adopted, then we can have that go through the formalities according to Robert's rules. So there's a motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Ms. Edmonds. Ms. Edmonds, I'm sorry, it was motioned by Ms. Edmonds, seconded by Ms. Rice. Ms. Edmonds, I'll recognize you for your question.
It is a question about how this was presented on the agenda, so it's not really discussion about the policy. In the action agenda, it says on recommendation for action/next steps, it says this item is presented for discussion and information. Does that need to be changed, or parliamentary, can we just?
So the motion was on the floor that we were just going to, the motion drives what the discussion looks like. Is that correct, Attorney Malone?
I mean, certainly the board can approve it as it appears on the agenda. The précis language wouldn't prohibit the board from making a motion to approve.
That's my question.
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Is there any other discussion as it relates to this policy? Attorney Ramey, did you have anything that you wanted to add to the policy?
You needed me for anything, regrets for not being at the work session, but if you're all up to speed on the changes and everything, nothing to add.
Sounds great. All right, I don't think, is there any discussion? Not seeing any hands? All right, all in favor of the adoption of the policy, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same signs. The ayes have it. The policy passes, and we are now moving to board policy. This one is the International Exchange Student Policy, which is board policy. 4100, the RMP, International Exchange Students. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I would also like to present proposed amendments to Regulation Code 4100 RMP, International Exchange Students, for consideration and approval. These amendments are intended to ensure appropriate support and administrative flexibility for international exchange students when extenuating circumstances arise. The proposed changes can be found under Section C on the bottom of page 2 that extends to the top of page 3. The board proposed including language that states that late applications submitted after the July 31st deadline may be approved only at the superintendent's or designee's discretion for good cause. The language also includes the lack of awareness of the deadline is not considered good cause for a late application. These amendments were developed in collaboration with staff and legal counsel and reflect the input and guidance from the board. The changes do not alter the intent of the RNP, but rather ensure the regulation and procedural effectively support its implementation. At this time, I respectfully present RNP 4100, International Exchange Students, with the amendment stated for approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Robson. Is there a motion to adopt the necessary changes that has been presented to us in Board Policy 4100?
Chair Swanson, I make that motion.
All right, there is a motion on the floor to adopt the changes in the Board Policy 4100. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Caulfield. Is there any discussion? Ms. Edmonds.
Sorry, for clarity again, it was my understanding that we don't approve RMPs, but we are in this case. Is that correct?
I defer to the board
Attorney
attorney,
Malone.
even though I believe I know the answer, but I want to be exact.
Sometimes the board does approve the very first version of the RMP, and then from there, the superintendent will amend it as necessary, but it's not uncommon for a board to approve the first RMP.
Okay, which I don't believe this is the first one. But I'm in no way objecting. I'm happy to uphold the motion that I made. I support that. I support these changes. I just wanted that clarity. Thank you.
Well, I also just want to thank staff for, making these changes. We've heard from families about how there are some circumstances that are not not any fault of students who are participating in these international programs, trying to participate in our education system, and this language that was amended or that's been added to the policy actually gives those families a little bit more time to address those circumstances. So thank you. To your team, I know to Dr. Hill and Mr. Cook before he retired, and Delinda, oh my gosh, I can't think of Delinda's last name, who's also retired, for bringing this and helping with the language, as well as Dr. Crane. So I just want to thank staff for the work that they've done and the input that they've, including the board's input with this. So thank you. Is there any other discussion before we vote? All right. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion that has been on the floor, let it be known by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed, same signs. The ayes have it. The policy has been adopted. We will.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Robson. All right, we will now turn to some additional information items with our superintendent comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening to you all. It is my honor this evening to highlight 4 outstanding leaders in our district who have been recognized for their exceptional service. I'd like to start with Dr. Mariah Walker, principal of Wake Young Women's Leadership Academy, who was named the 2026 North Central Regional Principal of the Year by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. So I had the pleasure of joining her school community, her family members, several board members, and staff for yesterday's surprise announcement. Dr. Walker served students, families, and educators in Wake County for more than 20 years. At Wake Young Women's Leadership Academy, she has led with a strong focus on academic excellence, post-secondary access, and student leadership. Her leadership has helped create a school culture where students feel valued, supported, and confident in their potential. None of that comes as a surprise to those of us in Wake County, as Dr. Walker is our district's reigning Principal of the Year. On Monday, Dr. Walker shared that she is grateful for the opportunity to serve and to represent the strength of public education in North Carolina. She now advances to compete as a finalist for the 2026 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year. The winner of the statewide title will be announced this spring, and I know it's going to be Dr. Walker. Next, I'd like to congratulate Darren Coe, our district's Director of Athletics, on receiving national recognition for the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. Darren is one of only 10 athletic administrators in the country selected for the 2025 Bruce D. Whitehead Distinguished Service Award. This award honors long-term service, professional excellence, and meaningful contributions to interscholastic athletics at multiple levels. Darren will be formally honored as the 56th at the 56th National Athletic Directors Conference on Monday. He has served Wake County Public Schools in his current role for 13 years. Under his leadership, the number of nationally certified athletic administrators in our district grew from 3 to 17. He has also helped launch the Unified Track and Field program, which brings together students with disabilities and student athletes at both the district and the state level. And he oversaw the implementation of 3 new sports: stunt, JV women's volleyball, and women's flag football. Prior to his current role, he held athletic leadership positions at Wake Forest, Roseville High School, and Franklinton High School. Darren also coached men's and women's varsity soccer and is a member of the North Carolina High School Soccer Coaches Hall of Fame. Darren holds a master's degree in executive leadership and a principal's license and is a nationally certified master athletic administrator. That's new to me. I didn't even know that existed, Mr. Chair. This honor reflects his lasting impact on student athletes, schools, and athletic programs throughout Wake County and beyond. Congratulations as well to Shashi Budula, the Wake County Chief Technology Officer, who has been named the finalist for the North Central CTO Digital Leader of the Year Award. This recognition highlights his leadership, innovation, and commitment to using technology to better support students, staff, and families. The regional winner will advance to compete at the state level for the State CTO Digital Leader of the Year Award. Shashi joined Wake County as the Chief Technology Officer in August 2023, bringing more than 20 years of experience in K-12 education and technology leadership. His experience includes serving as Chief Information Officer for Baltimore City Public Schools, where he led major system launches, infrastructure upgrades, and strengthening data security practices. During his tenure here, he helped oversee the successful launch of Infinite Campus, the new statewide student information system. His technology services team worked with transportation to create an online bus update system that alerts parents when a bus is going to be delayed. And he was instrumental in rolling out a major Oracle upgrade that included extensive infrastructure and security enhancements, while playing a key role in implementing a new absence management system that streamlines staff leave requests and approvals. We appreciate Shashi's steady leadership as we modernize our system and strengthen the digital foundations that support teaching and learning and operations across our entire district. I would next like to recognize Maria Alejandra Marreco. Difficult with those names as well. A Spanish teacher at Wilburn Elementary School for representing both her school and our district on the international stage. Ms. Mareko was invited to present at the 17th International Congress on Education in Japan in November, where she shared original research developed from her classroom experience at Wilburn. Her research examines how English-only instructional environments can unintentionally impact Spanish-speaking students' confidence, language development, and sense of identity. Drawing on real classroom examples, the study highlights the importance of valuing students' home languages to support belonging, academic growth, and overall well-being. Because of the quality and relevance of her work, Mrs. Mareko was subsequently invited to present at the Global Conference on Education in Dubai, which she did virtually this past Sunday. So I'm proud of Ms. Mareko for sharing the innovative work happening in our classrooms and for representing Wilburn Elementary and our district with her professionalism and her expertise. Finally, I'd like to know that our board heard an update on the current state of the Ligon Magnet Middle School renovation project at today's Facilities Committee meeting. This initiative has drawn interest from many community members who want to make sure we honor the legacy of this historic school. I want to assure everyone that this is among our top objectives as we present options to the board. We also want to give the community ample opportunities to make their voices heard. In that spirit, we are going to hold an open community engagement event on January the 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. and there will be additional meetings as well. Staff are working to identify suitable locations for the meetings, which we will communicate and post on our website as soon as possible. Our staff will provide an update on the project status and next steps at the meeting, followed by a period for the community to give input on their priorities for this school project. So again, we're working together. I'm confident this project will be a testament to the legacy of John W. Ligon and a source of pride for our entire community. And with that, Mr. Chair, I yield back my time.
Thank you, Superintendent Taylor. I will now turn to board member comments, and we'll just go around the table, starting with Ms. Caulfield.
Thank you. Today, can you hear it?
I think so.
Today, Wake Up and Read hosted an event at Marbles Museum which focuses on literacy. I'd like to encourage our community, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, or a community member, to reach out to your local schools and see how you can help with reading to our children and our literacy programs. We all can invest in the education of our children, and I promise you it'll be the most rewarding hour that you will have all week. When you see our young children, our students, light up when you arrive to read to them. And if you cannot volunteer, hopefully you will consider donating or providing some books for our annual book drive. During this holiday season, it would be a great time to consider donating some of the books to your local school. I also wanted to remind us that there are many people struggling this time of year, and hopefully we can all find a way to reach out to someone in need and include them in our celebrations or to provide assistance, even if it's just checking in with them. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. And as we reflect during the holiday season, all that we are grateful for, I want to thank our amazing teachers, our staff, and our community partners that get involved with our schools to invest in our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ng.
Good evening. I'll try to keep it short. I wish to congratulate Coach Clark for her years of service to WCPSS and for the recognition that she received today. It is very clear that her impact has been far-reaching for all the lives that she touched, and we are honored that we are able to name the softball field after her. Actually, thinking about what she was talking about, the fast softballs, I actually have PTSD over that. I wish to thank Ms. Cash and Ms. Simmons for coming out tonight to speak on their efforts to raise money for the district-wide Angel Fund through 4 Children Partners. This is such a great mission, and it is so needed for our students. Even though I was not able to come to the evening to support the fundraiser on December 4th, I do hope that I'll be able to attend the future fundraiser next year. As for the situation at Crossroads Flex, I am sympathetic to the students and parents who are having to make drastic changes in their lives as a result of issues that were beyond our control. As a parent of an athlete, I know that their dedication to their sport can keep them away from time being engaged with their classmates. So to go to a virtual learning is further isolating them in time that really they need each other even more. And I agree with our speaker during public comment who talks about the less than ideal need to implement virtual learning. This is kind of like going back to COVID. I agree with that. I'm hoping that Dr. Taylor and the senior leadership team can help find a solution that will keep the Crossroads Flex community together. And if there's anything I can do to help, just please let me know. I want to wish everyone Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, and I just pray that everyone will have a safe holiday break. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ng, and I think you beat me to the gun about speaking about Crossroads Flex because I was waiting for leadership to direct me on how we should respond. And so to those parents that have been emailing, we have been, at least I as the representative of that district, has been in response and working with the superintendent as well as Mr. Enns to determine what a community meeting will look like. So I do want to say, since you opened it up and beat me to it, that we are taking that very seriously, but I was waiting for the appropriate direction from staff to make that decision, to make those comments. Ms. Gordon.
Thank you.
I first want to congratulate all of the newly National Board Certified teachers who recently earned their initial certification and those who have maintained their certification. The score reports were released last week, and I can't wait to celebrate you in person when the district honors you. I hope to bring the work that we do as National Board Certified teachers to the Student Achievement Committee that I have the honor of chairing. I do want to say, as we head into the holiday season, I want to offer some gentle reminders for our educators specifically. First of all, rest without guilt. Your well-being matters. Set boundaries. It's okay to step away and cut your emails off and unplug. Lean on your community. You do not have to carry everything alone. And please honor your joy. Seek moments that restore you, even the small ones. And I also have a few gentle reminders for our families and our students. First one is prioritize rest and well-being. Learning includes caring for ourselves. Give grace, give grace, give grace to one another and to yourselves during this busy holiday season. Stay connected. Community and belonging matters, and hold space for joy in all the ways it shows up for you. And so with that, have a wonderful, well-deserved break and happy holiday season.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Dr. Joe?
I was honored to attend the Apex Friendship Middle School Blue Ribbon School Celebration last Friday. Previously a national award, the North Carolina Blue Ribbon School Award continues the tradition of recognizing schools for outstanding growth and achievement. Friendship was recognized as one of only 3 schools in the state for achievement in both academic excellence and closing the achievement gap. It was wonderful to hear students speak about their school, and it was wonderful to watch the band and cheerleading squad perform, and I look forward to coming to pep rallies in their gym in the future. I also want to recognize Ms. Aurelis Lugo at Herbert Akins Road Middle School, who received the Voya Financial Unsung Hero Award and a $2,000 grant for her project celebrating inclusive art and expression from her students with disabilities. She was the only North Carolina teacher chosen for the award. You can see her showcase of student work next month at the Diamante Arts and Cultural Center in Raleigh. I want to take a second to thank the local businesses that this semester have done spirit nights and other fundraising events with our schools this semester, including but not limited to in my district, Rose and Lee, Fratelli's Deli, Fresh Local Ice Cream, Mad Splatter, and Fat Cat Homemade Ice Cream. I hope that families take advantage of these opportunities to support their schools and local businesses at the same time. I want to wish all of those who are celebrating Hanukkah this week, Chag Sameach, and I hope that all of our WCPSS families have a wonderful break and stay safe and warm.
Start with Ms. Rice.
Looks like my colleagues have dug into that wellness piece. I knew you was smiling. I saw y'all. I said, it's okay. No, wonderful. Season's greetings to the Wake County Board of Education staff, students, and community. Great things have continued to happen in District 4 since our last meeting. Carnegie Magnet Middle School recently celebrated its 60th anniversary. I had the opportunity to reconnect with my former principal, teachers, and staff who made a lasting impact in my life, while also meeting new educators who continue that legacy of excellence. It was truly meaningful to witness the past, present, and future of Carnegie coming together. Today's 8th dimension of wellness focus is emotional wellness. And this will be my final wellness focus for the year, resuming again in March 2026. Please remember to complete your wellness plan before entering the new year, or make it a priority to complete one in the new year. Over the past 2 years of serving on the board, I've had the honor of supporting and speaking directly with students about their mental well-being. I have gained valuable insight from students who are eager to learn, grow, and develop skills related to their overall well-being. Their mental health matters deeply to them, and it must continue to matter deeply to us. As we enter the holiday season, emotions come in waves. I also want to acknowledge that I too have experienced these waves through grief. To the families, staff, and students who may be carrying grief or any form of sadness during this season, please know that you are not alone. Your feelings are valid and support is available. My emotional wellness tip for this week is this: when thoughts arise that bring sadness or cause you to lose hope, reject those thoughts of harm and embrace the possibility that help is all around you. Seek out a trusted adult, whether it's a teacher, counselor, colleague, or friend. Most importantly, access professional support when needed so you are not navigating challenges alone and can continue in the pursuit of happiness and wholeness. Here are a few simple ways you can all keep and spread the holiday cheer. Lead with kindness. Smile. A smile, kind word, or note, thank you, Dr. Taylor, of appreciation can go a long way. Check on one another, especially those who may seem quiet or withdrawn. Practice gratitude by naming one positive moment each day, even in challenging times. Create a space of joy through music, shared meals, laughter, or meaningful traditions. And finally, give what you can, whether it is a time, encouragement, or support, remembering that small acts make a big impact. So thank you, everyone, in your respective roles for all that you do to support our students, staff, and families, and for helping to create a culture of care, compassion, and connection throughout our schools and community so that we all can do what? Have a positive and productive day.
Thank you. Ms. Edmonds.
Thank you. I did enjoy the Wake Up and Read program this morning, as I said, with Dr. Taylor and Commissioner Waters. And Wake Up and Read is an essential partner for our district, and their work supports reading proficiency. But I do have to say that as I sat there this morning, I couldn't help but have our budget concerns in the back of my mind. We intend to dive deeper with our community partners in 2026 to support our work under expected budget constraints. And I just think it's really important to acknowledge that some, if not many, of those community partners could also face serious budget challenges next year. We have no state budget. North Carolina is the only state in the country without one. We all know about the federal funding threats and the movement that is happening, the division of duties, or however you want to classify it, happening at the U.S. Department of Education, and we don't fully know those impacts of that shuffling and division. I just think it's important to say out loud that we can't volunteer our way to proficiency. We need those federal investments, we need those state investments, we need to hold those state and federal leaders accountable, and we need to advocate for those critical dollars. So I lift up the work of Wake Up and Read in particular. I'm thrilled that they're with us this evening, and the work that they do is critical, but my heart is heavy and my mind is often preoccupied with whatever agenda item. I felt it in facilities conversation today, work session, talking about professional development. I am really concerned at what lies ahead for our ability to do more with less and to provide what our children, especially our most vulnerable children, to provide them with what they need and what our educators need to help them be successful. On a more positive note, Middle Creek Elementary School, I was able to go on Friday to a PALS performance. This was a musical performance that spotlighted children with different abilities, and they don't always get the opportunity to shine in this way. And it was really a wonderful way to kick off the holiday season, and I'm very grateful to the parent that invited me and for the great work that, that those parents and that school is doing with these kids. Thank you to Chair Swanson and Dr. Taylor and the staff, including Ms. Allen, for a great retreat. I know it was a ton of work, and the upset of us having to, lose a day was less than ideal, but thank you for all the work that went into that. And then finally, I rolled off of the School Health Advisory Committee, known as the SHAC. Ever since I was sworn into office in 2022, I have been the board liaison to the SHAC. I did have a history with SHAC before that, going way back to some work I did with Safe Routes to Schools, 15 or more years ago. And so that's how I got involved as the board liaison, was from that connection. But I served for 3 years. I was honored to do that. It's a great team, and I'm excited that they will enjoy a new board liaison. It's time, and I just thank you and thank them for all that they do.
Thank you, and we'll hear from Vice Chair Hershey.
Thank you, Chair Swanson. Before I get to my individual district comments, just to follow up on what Dr. Taylor was talking about with what we received during the Facilities Committee meeting regarding Ligon. I'm hoping that staff is going to put up the link to the website.
It was on there during his comments.
Oh, they put it up there? Oh, I wasn't even watching the screen. I was too busy listening to them. And they didn't tell me. Yeah, good job, guys. There's a lot up there, a lot of information we received. If you scroll to the December 16th meeting and to watch the 27-minute video, and we echo Dr. Taylor's remarks that we encourage feedback. Thank you, staff, for putting that up there twice. Third time. We can put it up there as many times as they want tonight. Thank you, Principal Avery at Wiley Elementary School, for hosting our BAC meeting yesterday. Also, thank you to Dr. Moore Brown, who we saw earlier today, for laying the foundation for the advocacy work that we'll be doing over the next few BAC meetings. Man, all my comments got spoken about already, so I'm just going to close very quickly. At Douglas Elementary School, we have our longtime music director is retiring, and so I asked for and received from the principal and from staff just a few words about her, so I will close on this. It is with great admiration and gratitude that we recognize Mrs. Susan Zalaski on the occasion of her retirement. A proud graduate of the University of Georgia with a bachelor's degree in music education, Ms. Zalaski began her teaching career in Georgia before becoming a pillar of Douglas Elementary School, where she has dedicated 23 years to nurturing and inspiring students. Throughout her esteemed career, Ms. Zalaski has been honored as Teacher of the Year and has earned national board certification. Her commitment to the arts and her students is evident in every lesson, every performance, and every life she's touched. As an active member of A+ Schools of North Carolina, she has furthered her impact beyond the classroom, always striving to spark a love of music and create lasting memories for her students. Mrs. Zalaski is a true lifelong learner and facilitator of learning, whose passion for education and the arts will forever be a fixture in the Douglas community. As she embarks on this new chapter, we celebrate her remarkable legacy and thank her for her unwavering dedication to her students, colleagues, and the power of music. We congratulate her, and on a personal note, she is my son's music teacher, of course, and she has been very impactful in his pursuit of music, and invited him to bring his guitar in and play in front of class on multiple occasions. And it's those little things in life, those little moments that certainly as a parent, I am so grateful for her as a teacher. It's something I will always remember, and I know my son will always remember that. So we will miss her very much in the Douglas community, and I conclude my remarks with that.
Thank you. And so I'll be brief. I just want to thank the board for participating in our robust board retreat that we had last week, and looking forward to getting the part 2 that was delayed scheduled. And, you know, I just want to give a great shout out to Ms. Allen for coordinating everything solo at the moment. So thankful for her leadership on that and thought partners as we made this retreat the best that we could and keeping our work focused on teaching and learning. And so I want to thank all of the SLT members and area superintendents for the work that they did to, you know, assist with this and, you know, really giving us a deep dive into the school improvement plans and looking forward to connecting that work as we move forward. And so we will move forward with the part 2 of our Master Board training with Ramona Powers from the School Board Association, and that date may tentatively be over sometime in July. We'll get with some dates, but just want to flag that early, but we'll get those dates. I also want to thank Doctors Alfred Keith, Robinson, and McMillan for presenting the strategic plan the following day of the retreat at Adams Elementary School, where we had some really great discussion about the data and where we are and how we can partner on the work. So I want to thank Principal Elrod in her absence for securing food. Although she was supposed to be out, she made sure that the District 9 community members were fed and was well taken care of. And I also want to thank interim principal and former area superintendent, Dr. Sexton, for her leadership at Adams as she stood in. I also had the opportunity this weekend to participate in the annual Cary Christmas Parade. I was joined by, every year I get to participate with some fellow Rotarians at the Cary High Interact Club as well as the Cary Kildare Club. So enjoyed to see the creativity that the students from Cary High present, and this year it was a snowman theme, and so very grateful to just, you know, see the students take the great work that they do and be as creative as they can. And I also just want to, you know, thank Ms. Haywood, who is not only my board advisory chair, but she is the advisor for the Cary Interact Club, and also put out a great challenge to some Rotarians across the Cary community to adopt some of the schools as we were talking about literacy rate. And so I look forward to working with her as we get more of our Rotarians into the schools to really help close these academic gaps. And so I'm excited about that work. And to the families of Crossroads Flex and SCORE Academy, I just want to, you know, say that I'm in receipt of those emails, and Dr. Taylor will be presenting a community date so families can engage and really learn the process of how we've been there. And so I am very sympathetic to the situations that we have been presented in, and I look forward to how we can resolve those. But I do know that teaching and learning will take place, and I hope that the principals at both of those schools deserve great support for the works that they've been doing. And so very grateful for Principal Nottingham's leadership and Principal Hines. And so these challenges are very unique, and look forward to how we're going to resolve these as a community. And so please be on the lookout for that community date, whether it'll be in person or virtual. That will be announced and shared with those families. And so I believe those are all of my comments. And at this point, I will entertain a motion for us to return back to closed session. Hershey.
Motion to return to closed session.
There is a motion from the Vice Chair to return to closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded from Ms. Gordon. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of returning back to closed session, let it be known by the sign of aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. We are returning back to closed session. Thank you all and have a great holiday season.